What's up, Falcons? Welcome to the class of 2026 U of A application updates. Thanks for being here. Thanks for checking this out. My name is Chris, or Mr. Shea, or Mr. Chris. I am your college and career counselor, and we're just going to go over some of the major updates that the U of A has taken on for the class of 2026. Is drastically different than what they did last year. And so we're going to go over those things. But why we're going to go over things is really important. Historically speaking, about 75% of our students apply to the U of A. About 73% get accepted, and last year, 45% of them actually enrolled at the U of A. For the Franke Honors College, about a quarter of our students applied, and about 10% of them enrolled. So generally speaking, about half of our student class or graduating class will attend the U of A. And that's been last year as well as historically over the last 5 years, I believe. And so we just want to make sure that we address all of our students, like every other student in our class who will be applying to the U of A. The first thing that is a major change is the application deadline. So in the past, they've done a rolling admissions, which means that you could apply as soon as they open their application in July and find out a decision shortly thereafter within 3 to 4 weeks. And then you'd find out your merit-based scholarships of what you would receive. For this year, they are changing that completely. So they are offering a early action decision of November, or early action deadline, of November 1st. And it says very clearly, if you want to maximize your admission status and merit and Franke Honors consideration, you need to apply by November 1st. And then what happens is they're going to take that time from November 1st through January 15th to decide on who gets in, how much money they'll receive, and that kind of thing. And then on January 1st, 15th, sometime in mid-January, they'll let you know, hey, you've been accepted to the U of A. Here's your merit-based scholarship and everything else. In the past, if you received a certain GPA, core unweighted GPA, you would receive a specific amount of money from the U of A as a merit-based scholarship, which is a yearly scholarship that renews as long as you meet GPA requirements. This year is very different. And so November 1st is when you have to apply by. So for all 75% of our students who are applying to the U of A, we definitely want to apply by November 1st, just so that we can maximize our admission status as well as our merit-based aid. One of the things that hasn't changed, though, is the cost of tuition. So tuition has stayed the same from last year to this year. So $12,168. Plus, there's going to be an additional fees of around $1,800. And then if you're living in the dorms, the cheapest dorms, those prices have gone up. So the cheapest dorm is going to be $7,090, and then the cheapest meal plans have all gone up as well by 2%. And so, if you're living on campus, your first year of college will be around $26,500, roughly. Right. Just want to make sure that we share that information so that we know colleges or in-state colleges can increase their tuition up to 3% every year, and U of A has decided to not change that. So there's one of those things. How it works when we apply. So when we apply and we submit we fill out our applications for the U of A, you do what's called self-reported grades. And so you'll go in and you'll add your grades in math, English, science, social studies, foreign language, and a fine art or CTE. Last year, this is what the breakdown would be. If you had an unweighted GPA of 4.0, you would receive $11,000 every year for 4 years in a merit-based scholarship, as long as you met their GPA requirements. They are not doing this at all this year. There is no tier, there's no structure to their merit-based scholarships because they are starting to do a holistic review of applications. What that means is that they're going to look at your grades, your rigor, like how challenging of classes that you've taken, as well as your activities and essays to decide how much they want to invest in your education at the U of A. So what that means is for our students who have done really well academically and have challenged themselves with rigor and honors classes and AP classes, and maybe you didn't have a 4.0 on unweighted GPA, you might have a much better chance of gaining a higher merit-based award than in years past, right? So there are two optional essay prompts for the U of A now, and they are highly recommended. And what highly recommended really means is required for selective essay or for selective colleges and institutions. And so we want to make sure that we do those. The two essay prompts are: why is the U of A the right fit for you, and how will your chosen academic area of study align with your interests, goals, and values? So if we are applying to a few more selective schools, you will see this question quite a bit. Why us? Why Duke? Why Michigan? Why UW? And that kind of thing. And so how we answer that question, or how we respond to that prompt, is very similar. We are not regurgitating what makes the U of A an awesome school. We're not sharing their facts or their statistics or whatever else. We are doing a deep dive into how the U of A will allow us to thrive. So we're looking at certain professors or certain programs, certain opportunities like specific clubs or the A Center if we do not know what major we want to do, right? We're looking at the different things that the U of A offers where we can immerse ourselves and get clarity on what we want to do with our studies or what we want to do with our life, right? So if you are interested in biology and you want to be a doctor someday, maybe you would write about their pre-med club or their APME program or something like that, right? Something that allows whoever the reader is to get a better sense of how you will thrive on their campus. So you want to do a little bit of research and see how we can make this as personal as possible, so that the reader, whoever is judging your application or reviewing your application, can envision you being on campus and participating in various events or contributing to the campus community in some way, shape, or form. They're not guessing, they can actually see it by what you're sharing here for this essay. The second essay is there anything else you'd like to share that you have not already included? And this is a great opportunity to include things that you wouldn't include otherwise. Excuse me. For instance, say you have been working 20 to 30 hours a week in addition to full-time school in order to help pay for rent or to take care of groceries or cell phone bills or that kind of thing. Maybe you are in charge or responsible for taking care of your younger siblings, taking them to and from school, making their lunches, and that kind of thing. Or maybe you have a strong academic history of STEM related classes, but you want to showcase your passion for art. And so you would share in this essay about your love for photography or your love for ceramics or music composition or something like that may not show up anywhere else, right? Here's your chance to share a holistic view of how amazing of a person you are and how you are mature enough that you will thrive in the college environment. So both of these essay prompts are 500 words or less. So we'll create them in a Google Doc or a Word doc or somewhere else, right? And then we'll edit and refine those things so that when we copy and paste them in these text or these application boxes, they are good to go. Highly recommend that you take your time with these. You have a little over 2 months or right around 2 months before that application deadline. It does not help or does not benefit you to apply earlier than that November 1st deadline. They're still going to kind of bundle them all together and review them all at the same time. So what I would love to see with these essays, because we want to make sure that we do them well so that we can maximize our merit-based scholarship. Everything that we've heard from the admissions reps is that they will review these essays and consider these essays as part of your application in terms of how much merit-based scholarships you will receive. So that's why this is so important. So as I was saying before, what I would love to see with these essays is that if if you wrote your essay and you placed them down in the middle of one of our assemblies and we had hundreds of students read it, they would know it's exactly your story and it can't be attributed to hundreds of other students, right? It needs to be personal. No one else has ever had your life. And so, or your goals or your interests or your values or that kind of thing. So we want to make sure that those stand out so that the reviewer, the admissions officer, the admissions rep who reads this can really get a better sense of who you are. Another portion of the essay or the application that is new this year is the section for activities and honors. Here's your chance to share all the different things that you do and how it takes up your time. So it's not about a quantity issue. It's more about the quality of things that you do. So we don't necessarily need to list 20 different things or 10 different things. We want to list the things that are most important to you. And as you think about each year activity, I want you to question, why am I sharing this with the admission readers? And what does this say about me? All right. So say we are in choir. We've been in choir for 4 years, or this is our 4th year of choir. And so we want to share in those 150 characters, which is basically one sentence, its impact on me or my impact on it. So I could say, help led our choir to national recognition during a competition in Nashville, Tennessee. Or we could say, through choir, I've learned dedication, how to work with a team, how to hear other people's voices, how to consider other people's perspectives, that kind of thing. So either your impact on it or its impact on you. And we want to order those or list those in the order that makes the most sense to you, or makes, if they're only going to look at the first two, we want to make sure that those first two things are the most impressive or that share the most about you. And so that could either be by the amount of time you spend doing it, or like the achievement of it, or like what we've learned from it, or our impact on it, and that kind of thing. So activities are important. Make sure this is just another portion of that holistic review about yourself. So if your activities say really you speak to your leadership skills and that kind of thing, maybe your essays talk about your ability to overcome challenges or your resiliency, and then your grades share another part of you, so that all those things kind of come together to create a holistic review of who you are. If all of those things kind of talk about your leadership, then that's more of a one note, one theme type of idea. Then we're less diverse. We are less well-rounded than someone who can share about different facets of their characteristics, their values, their awesomeness, essentially. The next thing that they're going to ask you about is for your awards and honors. And this is school related or club related or sports related or music related, dance related, whatever it may be. So they want to know if you've been awarded or earned special accomplishments in anything. Right. So it could be a perfect attendance award, or it could be a academic or academic letter award, or that kind of thing. Right. Or it could be a club volleyball most valuable player or something like that, right? So any and all things. If we don't have anything, don't make something up, right? So it's okay if you don't have anything, no big deal. Just another opportunity to share how successful you've been in certain things. But a lot of things don't have like specific awards. So we don't need to fret. We don't need to worry if there are things, or if you don't have anything listed here. One of the biggest questions that we receive is, because of this change to the U of A application, which application should we use? And if you are, here's our advice. If you are already using the Common App to apply for schools all across the country, all across the world, go ahead and add U of A to the Common App. However, if you are not using the Common App, go ahead and use the U of A specific application, because that will just make things easier and simpler for you. So use whichever application works best for you. The Common App has quite a few different criteria and information that you need to put in versus just using the specific U of A application. So we're telling our students that if you want to use, or if you are applying to U of A, ASU, NAU, or any variation of those three, that you just use their specific application. All right, switching over to the Honors College. So the Honors College is also included in the application now. So you will apply for all of them at the same time. Honors College, general admission, and the APME, the medical advanced pathway for medical education program. And so the Honors College question, or it has an essay prompt, and we encourage you to, or sure, sorry, it is, the Franke Honors College emphasizes 5 core values. We seek, we connect, we create, we evolve, and we celebrate. Which of these values resonates the most with you, and how do you imagine pursuing those values, as a Franke Honors Wildcat? So there is some similarity to this question and the why U of A question, right? Why are these values so important, and how will you, as a honors student, pursue those values, or what resources and various things that the Honors College provides will allow you to excel or progress in each of those things. And so I've heard from the Franke Honors College rep that they have access to your general admission questions or general admission application. And so we definitely don't want to do the same essay for both, or the same topics for both. We want to create 3 separate essays, 2 for the general admissions and then 1 for this one. Yes, I know it's a lot of writing, but if we're going to maximize our merit-based scholarships as well as our eligibility to get accepted into the Franke Honors College, we want to put the work in now to get these 3 essays done and make sure that they are incredibly personal and insightful about your character, values, awesomeness, etc. Right? So take the time. You're going to want to start these now if we are interested in the Franke Honors College. The other part of the Franke Honors College is that they used to require a letter of recommendation, and now they're completely open about it. So you can upload up to 3 different types of documents for this portion. And so we highly recommend that at least one of those 3 things is a letter of recommendation. Again, this is optional supplemental materials. And what does optional mean? It means that we're going to do it, right? So we're going to maximize how much information that they receive from us to overwhelm them with how great we are in various ways. So you can upload you can upload 3 letters of recommendation, or like a resume, or a research project that you did for the Keys internship, or a business that you've created, or art that you were really proud of. Maybe it's a short film or something like that. So there is a 256 megabyte per file limit, but this is an opportunity to do that. If we are going to submit letters of rec, there's going to be an option, instead of uploading a file here just to maintain integrity. I highly encourage you to have whoever is writing your letter of rec to send it directly to the Honors College, honors@arizona.edu. And then on this application, you would just share, or you would upload a file that says, please see the email from so-and-so for a letter of rec. Right. So that they don't have to email that letter of rec to you. And so that there's no questioning that you might have altered that letter or written that letter yourself or that kind of thing. So there's also, in the same application on Common App and on the specific U of A application on their website, they're also going to ask you if you're interested in applying to the APME program, right? The Accelerated Pathway to Medical Education. What this program is that it, after your 3rd year of undergrad, you will go directly into the U of A med school and start a year early. So you don't have to take the MedCat. You just have to maintain a certain GPA while during your undergrad, and then you're automatically accepted to the med school program. Only 5 students are taken or selected every year for this program. However, 5 students are selected. So if you're interested in becoming a medical doctor and you want to be a medical doctor, here's a really great opportunity to ensure that you are going to get to where you want to go. And so, highly recommend that you apply, see what happens. There is a personal statement here. Use this personal statement to tell us background and your motivation for this career choice and why you are applying to this program, essentially. So it is a one pager, it looks like. From what I have heard, the APME does not necessarily have access to the other essays that you have, and so you might be able to reuse or recycle some of the topics and things that you wrote for previous essays. The other thing that they're going to ask for is another essay where please share a meaningful experience you have had working or volunteering in the health professional field, or a time in your past in which you were responsible for the care and well-being of someone else. What did you learn as it relates to becoming a physician? So we'll want to knock that out. And it's a short essay, 350 words. Again. So let's be personal. Let's share something meaningful. Let's envision them or let's help them envision how great of a doctor that you're going to be. They require a recommendation, and so they will ask very specifically for that recommender's contact information and that kind of thing. And so we just want to make sure that we include all that information and have that ready to go by November 1st. We're going to ask for letters of recommendation at least 4 weeks in advance. So we want to give our recommenders as much time as possible so that they have the opportunity to write you a really great letter of rec. And as we ask these teachers or staff members or whoever it may be for letters of rec, we want to make sure that we say very intentionally, hey, can you write me a letter of recommendation regarding my public speaking skills or my attention to detail or the time that I did this one group project and I did really well, or maybe how I overcame getting a bad grade initially and worked my way back, right? My resiliency or whatever else. Let's be specific so that they have something specific to write about, to share a personal letter of recommendation about you, so that it can't be just like your essay, like attributed to hundreds, if not thousands of other students. This is a section I like to call reckless speculation. It is something that I learned from a podcast that I listened to. And I think it's just another way that we can try to figure out why U of A made this change. They're going to a more holistic review of our students or their applicants. And so they're going to rank or judge or value rigor, how difficult of classes that you've taken. So a student who has a 4.0 unweighted GPA but has never taken an honors or AP level class, who may never have had a job or played a sport or participate in any clubs or does anything else. They just sit in their room and they do watch TV or whatever else, right? Versus a student who has taken quite a few honors and AP level classes, maybe has a 3.2 unweighted GPA, but also is part of student council and plays basketball or something else, right? Like which student they're going to review and see which student they feel like deserves a more of an investment from them to do well at the U of A, right? So they're reviewing all students and making sure that it's leveling the playing field. They're going to look at those essays and see where the student, like, are they intellectually curious? Are they passionate about something? Are they going to go somewhere? Do they have the right aptitude and maturity to succeed in college? And they're going to value that more highly than a generic essay that doesn't necessarily explain where they're coming from or their growth or their mindset or their character or their values or that kind of thing. The other part of it is that my hope is that they are doing this to become a more selective university. These are statistics from the top 10, the top 10 colleges that our students applied to last year, right? UCLA, University of Michigan, University of Washington, University of Texas, Duke, Yale, and San Diego State University. All of them have 80+%, if not significantly higher, well into the 90% graduation rate. for 4 years, whereas the U of A has the lowest at 60%. So if the U of A can become a more selective college, they will attract more selective students who really want to be there, who have the maturity, the aptitude to succeed and to graduate. And so by becoming this more selective college, by reviewing holistically, they're hopefully going to get students who are ready to or prepared for college. Sorry, 63%, not 60%. 63% of students to succeed at the collegiate level, and then they'll be retained year after year, and so that they will be set up to graduate in 4 years or 5 years, right? And that ultimately leads to higher income and whatever else for the U of A because students continue to come back, and then they graduate on time and everything else. So those are the main U of A application updates. It's a lot of information, but it's important for our students to know because we are one of the biggest feeder schools to the U of A in Southern Arizona. And so we want to make sure that our students are prepared to take advantage of the academics that they receive here at Catalina Foothills, as well as how to best prepare them, their applications to maximize merit-based scholarships at the U of A. What's awesome about this is for students who have maybe below a 3.0 unweighted GPA, someone who has a 2.7 or a 2.5 or whatever else. In years past, you did not receive automatic admissions. But now, because of the essays, because of the activities, we can now share all the different factors or all the different reasons why we are going to excel at the U of A and be a great fit for college in general. All right, everyone. So last few things, just some upcoming events that we want you to be aware of. On September 18th, we are having a field trip to the Franke Honors College. It'll probably be all day, 8:45 to 2 p.m. We have a tour set up with the Franke Honors College, and then we are going to tour the campus a little bit. We'll have lunch out there, or we'll have an opportunity to have lunch out there. So I'll share a link in the comments about how to sign up and apply for that. You have to have a CFSD student account to be able to apply for that. Starting this week, doing 7th period Ask Me Anything with your college and career counselors, so an AMA. So every 7th period between now and October 31st, right before that November 1st deadline, I'm going to be available in House 1, Room 205 during 7th period to answer questions about applications or essays or activities or majors or just researching colleges or whatever else. So whatever questions you have, happy to help every 7th period between now and November 1st. And then on September 24th from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., we are having a college and military fair here on our campus in the cafeteria. We have a ton of U of A programs coming. So if you are interested in the U of A and you know you have a pretty strong inclination that you will be attending the U of A, here's your opportunity to learn about the different majors and the different programs that are available. Maybe you had never considered a major from the College of Information Science or from the College of Agriculture, Life, and Environmental Sciences. This is your chance to do that, right? Talk to the people who work there, talk to the people who live in those fields, and see if that would be a really great opportunity for you. There's also colleges coming from all across the country, even abroad, as well as 2-year trade schools, 4-year colleges, and military academies. So come mark your calendars, save the date, September 24th, 6 p.m. to 7:30, cafeteria, and that would be great. So the last thing are QR codes to the various applications. Again, I'll share those links in the comments so you can have access to those. Thank you guys so much for listening. We're excited for these U of A application updates. The hope is that U of A becomes a really, really great, reputable and selective school so that our students benefit, the school benefits, and they go more in line with the academics that we provide here at Catalina Foothills. Thanks all.